Before we get into today's Fellas podcast episode, I did want to let you guys all know about our subreddit, r/Fellas podcast. Me and Chip are going to be doing an AMA over on there. Go and check it out and you can join the discussion. I didn't really see much of your stuff after that, but then you sort of came really back into all over my fucking television with...
You watch it on TV, nice.
Yeah, mate. The YouTube app on telly, kick back, cup of tea. That's where I watch my YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah. London Mayor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now this
is big.
This was big. Like this was the thing, you know. I used to look at, because you had like your channel, Zach and Jay's channel, and I used to look at the ideas. And my first instinct when I look at it, and I used to go, I can't be arsed to do that stuff.
Too much effort, but that's what's just worth it.
Seriously though, like, because you
that's because you've been in the game for so long, though.
10 years deep, brother.
Yeah.
10 years
he's
deep.
grinding, trying to hustle and, you know, get to where he wants to be. You just sick of it.
I'm
only 3 years in. I'm green. I'm fresh at the game.
You got 2 years left. Boy.
Exactly.
You got 2 years left.
I know you're right, but I don't want to believe it.
So yeah, you did this mayor thing. So it was you, a famous guy, Lawrence Fox, funny story about Lawrence Fox. Used to go to the Virgin gym that we went to, so we'd always see him in our gym, and I used to look at him and I used to be like, "That's the op. That's the op right there." But you had you, and then it was also Nico as well.
Yeah.
So it was you three. What was running for London Mayor like?
Well, I mean, I didn't. Nico also doing it was something that I didn't know was going to happen.
Yeah, because I didn't know whether was it a case of he saw your video and then went, "This seems like a good idea."
I think it seemed like, from my perspective, that it was like these two have just ended up having a great idea, and did it foil your plans a little bit?
I could give you a clip and be like, Nico, you absolute bastard, you nicked the TikTok. Sorry.
Well, perfect, because it's just been cut there anyway.
Exactly. There it is. I messed up the end of the line, but you've got the end. Yeah, Nico, you absolute bastard, you nicked my idea. I could say that, but I'm not going to, because I think what happened was that because of COVID, they reduced what you needed to do in order to run. So normally you have to pay a £10,000 deposit, and you have to get 400 signatures from people in the 32 boroughs of London, so registered voters. But because of COVID, they didn't want people like going and like trying to get loads of sign-ups. You just needed 2 signatures from every borough.
2.
Okay.
So suddenly you only needed 60 signatures of registered voters to say, yes, I will back this person to run for London Mayor, and £10,000. And so I mean, I got the idea because I was on the sofa and I was scrolling through BBC News. And I saw like who we think this is the BBC, who we think is going to run for London Mayor, and it was like Count Binface and the drill minister,
a legend of the game, by the way.
Yeah, a legend of the game. And I thought, at the end, I sent it to like a group chat of mine, and a mate of mine just replied saying, "You won't run for London Mayor."
Nothing worse than getting called out in a group chat. That'll take. You'll do anything.
Yeah, and I kind of sat there for about 5 minutes, and then why not? And so because I realized this is, I bet other YouTubers are going to do this, but I just wanted to be the first person to release the video saying that I was, because then I thought, right, if I do that, then I can then say to anyone else that comes along, I've got it.
Nico will never be the fastest to get it out. I can promise you that.
No.
Yeah.
So I posted the video about 2 weeks before I handed in all of the paperwork. The paperwork got accepted. I got accepted onto the list of candidates, and the London General Assembly released a list of the candidates, right? And at this point, I was thinking, no one else has said anything.
Yeah.
I think I'm in the clear here. And then the official press release from the mayor's office of the candidates, 20 candidates. I just saw Max Fosh, Nico Milan. I thought,
oh, fuck.
Of course.
No.
So, but no, to round off the clip, Nico in no way nicked the idea because of the amount of time you needed to kind of put everything together.
Yeah.
It just happened that 2 of us had the same idea at the same time. I mean, initially I was a bit annoyed because Nico has one of the most engaged audiences in the UK, and everyone was like, "Oh, Nico Milani's running for. Have you heard about that YouTube man?" I was like, having done 2 videos already, be like,
"What about me?
What about me?" But actually, it helped me massively.
I was gonna say, because you could almost turn the narrative a bit on its head. So I don't think you did though, but you could have made it a you versus Nico.
I just realised though that wouldn't have been interesting.
Right.
Because his audience is not my audience. Like we are completely separate, and there's no swaying Nico's audience.
No.
There is absolutely no way.
It was always going to be an L.
It was always going to be an L. So I thought, right, I need somebody else. And there was a guy who was also running, as you said, Lawrence Fox, and he and I are both poshos. He went to the same school as me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Not at the same time, but went to this like really posh school called Harrow. He also had no experience in politics, but he had 5 million quid in financial backing by this like rich guy.
There was this bus. He had a bus, and it would always go around Old Street. I saw it. I swear, I used to see it all the time, and I used to think like, why?
You sounded like a Lawrence Fox fan, man.
Yeah,
bro. He was jacked, by the way. No, he is jacked.
You joined his gym. You followed his bus around?
To be fair, at the launch of the bus, I then found out where it was, and I wrapped my car with the saying, "Don't believe everything you see on a bus," and drove right behind it as it went through the entirety of London.
That is amazing.
And I mean, he couldn't have done anything about it. He was just absolutely fuming.
Was he genuinely annoyed? Could he not see the funny side of it?
I know. So that was the first time that I interacted with him, and was like, "Oh, Lawrence, we're running against each other." And I was like talking about old teachers that we both would have had. As, "Oh yeah, Mr. Smith would have been so proud. Look at us, hey buddy, 4. I would have thought it, not me." And he kind of took it quite well at the start. And then I think he realized that I was a genuine nuisance to his campaign, because people were going up to him in the pub and being like, Nico, can we get Lawrence, can we get a picture? And just about to take the picture, be like, Max Fox is going to win.
That's unreal.
And so like, I think my audience started to then like really just nudge and nurdle him and just get in his head. I was living rent free. And I know for a fact that they had meetings about me, about what to do with me, about me whenever I turned up. And the party line,
pepper spray him.
Yeah, exactly.
Cyanide.
The party line was just to completely ignore me, which was perfect, because I would turn up and he would just pretend I wasn't there. And I also had, like, I don't think I've said this many times, but he would get so annoyed that he would only start posting where he was going to be, his press releases, to certain like news outlets, like ones that would like cover him favorably.
Okay.
But I would always find out where he was going to be.
How would you find it out?
And he started getting really, like, I would sometimes see his face, and I would always play the part like, "Lawrence, hello mate,
It's me again."
And his face, or his campaign manager would see me first, and then they just go, be absolutely gutted. And the reason why I knew where he was going to be is because there was someone who was working in his party who would just send me the details.
Did he have a mole?
I had
a mole in his own. That is unreal.
Wow.
Fucking play.
I had a mole who I think was just pissed off at how he was being treated. And so he was like, "Do you know what? I'm just
disgruntled employee."
Yeah, he was a disgruntled employee who thought, right, Max Fox could do with this information. So I just knew exactly where it was going to be.
Did this guy just like, does this mole just reach out to you then and go, "By the way, just so you know, I'm working"? Did you not think there might be a bit of a double agent thing going off here? And you were almost like, he would send you address, you're like, "Is this really the right place, or is he just sending me on?"
It always could have happened, but then I thought, like, his media content was never going to be like far-reaching enough.
Yeah.
And also I realized that he'd obviously been told by his campaign team, like, right, YouTube advertising, that's the one. Right, spend all your money on YouTube, or target the ads really well, get the young people engaged. But what the algorithm did was just put the adverts before my videos. so I was getting all the ad revenue that he had spent to promote his campaign.
London mayor in the title, and he was advertising.
So it was at the beginning of it, I was like, "Vote for Lawrence Fox this year's London mayor election." And to say thank you, I gave him and his financial backer a column the Caterpillar. So I sneaked into their offices as a delivery driver.
So he had no political experience or anything like that. But why was he actually running for mayor? Like, he had this £5 million. Did he genuinely think, like,
he genuinely think he'd probably had a few dinner parties where he'd had a bit too much wine, and everyone would be like, "Yeah, do you know what? You could do that. Yeah, you'd be really good." And he just kind of believed the hype. And I've always said this, because he was running on like a far right ticket, or a right wing ticket. And if he was genuinely interested in trying to win or making a difference in an election, he shouldn't have run for London mayor, because London is, like, historically a very left-leaning city, a very liberal city. Yeah. They are not going to be particularly happy about like a right-wing candidate.
So where would you recommend, like, if I was a racist, where should I run?
Your words, not mine. No, the lawyers. No, not me.
Where do you reckon the most racist place is?
Texas.
No, then he just turns up to Texas and goes, I'm running for mayor.
Tennessee?
Sir, we don't have a mayor here.
He should have run for a by-election in somewhere kind of rural. Like if he was being serious about it, he would have got an MP position in a rural area of the UK.
Oh, where do you reckon? Stoke was the Brexit capital. There we go.
There you go.
So
by-election
he needs to get
for
himself.
Stoke, yeah.
He needs to get himself. Lawrence Fox, mate. We're not going to charge you a consulting fee for this one. You can have it. Stoke. That's where you want to target.
Yeah.
5 million quid in Stoke. Fucking hell, you can get quite a bit in Stoke for 5 million
and Towers around the corner as well, so you can go have a couple of rides on the Smiler.
On the Smile.
do a bit of canvassing on the rides.
Lose a leg.
Yeah. So how did all of that end then? Like the results came out.
Yeah.
Lawrence, how did he end up doing?
He did all right. So on the night, the way it works is the results would come. They would get announced by constituency in London. So there's 30 different constituencies, and some were quicker.
Was Mr.
Count Binface was
he
running?
In there?
He was running. Yeah.
How did he perform this year?
He did pretty well.
Yeah.
He came about 6th or 7th, which considering that there were 20 candidates, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So the results would come out according to when they had basically found out the results. So some were quicker than others. Mm-hmm. So we knew exactly what the order was basically just before the results got announced, except for 2 constituencies that hadn't announced their results. And it was so close that both Nico and Lawrence were basically neck and neck. So we didn't know before the results who would won, Nico or Lawrence. And I knew that Lawrence was going to absolutely trounce me because
he has 5 million.
He's got
pounds,
5 million quid, and my number one campaign point was don't vote for me.
That's a fair point.
That was one that didn't go down too well. But Nico was stood next to me. We're in this room, and they were just like one more constituency was going to be announced, and everyone else knew who was going to win. We knew what the order was, except for who was going. I think it was 5th and 6th. So it was Nico going to come 5th or Lawrence to come 5th. And they called it out, and I was still next to Nico, and I was just watching Lawrence on the other side of the room, and
sweating.
And Nico won.
No,
Nico
way.
won, and I just kind of just pat my back, like, mate, thank you so much. That's made
it all worth it.
It's made it so, just to be in this room and watching Lawrence's face as Nico beat it.
A YouTuber is going to beat a £5 million backed.
Yeah, I beat UKIP in my home constituency, which was nice.
That's great.
Yeah, I beat Peter Gammons. That was the name of the candidate.
No way. The last guy's name is Gammon.
He was called Gammon. Yeah, Peter Gammons. And I remember going.
Sometimes I think these fuckers do it on purpose.
Genuinely, I mean, I went up to him at the results night and I was like, "Oh, Peter, mate, I had your absolute trousers down in West Central," and he just turned to me and was like, "It doesn't really matter, does it?" I was like, "Yeah, for me it doesn't, but I've just beaten you in one constituency. That's quite embarrassing." So it was and also I did find out subsequently that the backing of Lawrence Fox, who gave him a lot of the money, I have heard apparently.
Yes.
That I was his second preference in the election. So he voted for Lawrence first, being voted for me second.
The guy that backed Lawrence.
The guy backed Lawrence because, and he said, I quote, he admired my gumption. Which is like the poshest compliment ever. But that's all alleged. I don't know that for a fact. I was just told that, so that might be wrong.